Here's the thing about watches. They are just inherently cool. Whether it is a Casio or a Rolex, the idea of wristwatches is just cool. I really don't understand people who don't care about watches. Why would I spend so much money on a watch if my phone can just tell me the time? Why would you eat at a nice restaurant or try to cook yourself nice meals if you could just blend up all your food into a smoothie? You would still get all the calories you need. This has all the same logic to me. Of all of the things you buy, your watch has the potential to be the coolest one. It is a mechanical device that you wear on your wrist that pretty accurately measures the fourth dimension. So today we're looking at some of the coolest watches that money can buy for the coolest guys and gals who want to buy a watch. They're going to be at very different price points, starting at $20 and going all the way up to $130,000. That's a lot of money to spend on a watch, but there could be some cool guys and gals with a lot of money who need to know. Number 1, Casio. Just Casio. I couldn't even narrow it down because that's how cool Casio is. Now, if someone came to me and asked for my personal recommendations, I'd be starting with the reference F91W, probably the most classic of Casios with the iconic case shape, resin material, and all that functionality we come to expect. I love all of the vintage collection, which is their modern continuation of the 80s models, and of course, the G-Shock. My personal favorites are the 5600 series, as classic as it gets, and the 2100 series or the Casio with the octagonal bezel and digi display, very enjoyable to wear. If you have a bit more money, full metal G-Shocks are so cool. They are never a bad choice. I have this one, a B5000, and I freaking love it. Second cool watch for cool guys and gals, the TAG Heuer Formula 1, of course. You might be thinking, what kind of F1? The modern Formula 1 is so different than the neo-vintage 80s and 90s Formula 1s. And I mean both of them, but mostly the neo-vintage models. Let's start with the 80s and 90s. These were the first watches to bear the name TAG Heuer, after the legendary Heuer name was acquired by TAG, Technique d'Avant-Garde. These made no sense. Like, why is there a watch for Formula 1, a famously land sport, but it's a dive watch? It makes no sense, but it makes me happy. You can still pick these up for okay prices. I mean, the product isn't amazing for the price that you're paying. Maybe the prices aren't that great. I bought mine for about £400, and I wouldn't pay over £500 for one. Honestly, any Nomos is cool. It doesn't happen all the time, but there's been a couple of circumstances where I've seen a Nomos out in the wild, and I knew straight away that is a cool person. That is an informed choice. The coolest Nomos doesn't get talked about enough. The Zurich World Time in midnight blue. Incredibly good looking watch, awesome functionality, and it's a very different watch in the Nomos catalog. These aren't the cheapest watches on this list, retailing for £4,820 or about $5,000 USD, but you're getting a lot of watch for $5,000. Next, we have JLC or Jaeger-LeCoultre, and once again, this is just an overall cool person brand. I've only ever seen one JLC out in the wild. It was a woman wearing a master control and it was kind of oversized. It looked so cool. She looked so awesome. And it's actually kind of the inspiration behind this video. If you're not as deep into watches, Jaeger-LeCoultre is a brand that is brimming with history. They are called the watchmaker's watchmaker, as they used to supply movements to some of the most revered brands like Patek Philippe and Audemars Piguet, most notably with their ultra-thin automatic caliber 920. If you are looking to save some money, you can find master controls on Chrono 24 from the 2010s for about $2,000 to $4,000. And same with the reversos. You can find relatively modern models, still 2000s and 2010s, for $2,000 to $4,000. Alright, next, we need to talk about this watch, the Bulova Super Seville Mural, which is an IFL creation, and they just so happen to be today's fabulous video sponsor, and let me tell you why this watch is cool. This is basically a celebration of evolution and change and growth, using the New York art scene to tell that story, and linking it to Bulova's unique brand heritage. Founded in 1875 in New York City by Joseph Bulova, New York has changed through the centuries. Bulova has transformed and evolved, and street art has grown and changed as well. The Super Seville mural almost has an energy to it. The colors are vibrant and playful and kind of capture the chaos of the New York art scene. This is genuinely enjoyable to wear, so it has a 38mm rectangular case. It wears a bit larger on my 5.5-inch wrist, but it's still a cool oversized. But as always with IFL, the real exciting thing is the dial. This is a hand-painted dial and limited to just 300 pieces worldwide, which reminds me I need to say these are going live right now, today, April 7th. So if you really like the look of these, you want to make sure you get one, go click the link that is in my description. Then IFL knows I sent you, and maybe I can trick them into partnering with me forever and ever, because I love the things they're making and I love sharing them with you guys. This watch tells a lot of stories. It's really special. I love it. And thank you so much to IFL for sponsoring this video. I've expressed a couple of times now how important of a brand I think Longines is. Modern Longines is just expensive enough to be a really special and considered purchase, and just affordable enough that it still feels attainable. But there are also some really special models to be found going vintage. For me, vintage Longines is synonymous with chronographs. So there's something like this, flyback chronograph, cool cushion case from the 1960s. It's not cheap, but it is cool. Going a bit more classic, like the reference 7413, these are highly collectible, and if I saw someone wearing one of these, right away, I'd say, that's a cool person. I'd like to talk to that person. That watch has a story, and that person knows what they're doing. Moving on, IWC, and you guys know I'm kind of on one at the minute with IWC. I'm just so excited about them at the minute. And if you've been watching, you know I'm on one a little bit right now with this watch, the Yacht Club II. This is a very underappreciated Gerald Genta design. These were introduced at the same time as the Genta designed Ingenieur, and primarily available in quartz. I know a lot of people don't like quartz and their constitution just can't allow it. I disagree with these people. I don't know. I think to completely reject quartz, it's like alpine climbers who don't accept climbers who use air, who use gas. And it's like, I'm sorry I don't have 8 months to acclimate myself, whereas I can still climb this. It's a huge feat and not die. I think this might be one of my worst similes I've ever made. I've made some bad similes. What I like about quartz is that it levels the playing field a little bit more. It makes cool designs much more accessible to people. And on top of that, if we're being honest, if you really love accurate timekeeping, it is more accurate. What I'm trying to say, Yacht Club II, super cool. I would wear this all day, every day. Next watch, the Omega Speedmaster. And hear me out here. You might be thinking, oh, that's just a black watch. Who really cares? It's actually kind of boring, Brittany. And I have 2 replies for this. For one, it was the watch selected by NASA to go to the moon. The freaking moon. The moon. Here is a clip of Buzz Aldrin punching someone because they were doubting that he went to the moon.
Get it away from me. You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
And my second reply is, sometimes cool is understated. I've said it once and I'll say it again. The Speedmaster might be the most handsome watch ever designed. I talk about this all the time and I will never stop. I received this vintage Speedmaster from my beautiful, gorgeous friend Owl during the lowest point in my life. It is the kindest and most generous gift I have ever received. And this watch is just understated cool. The Speedy is one of the few manual winding chronographs that I can think of in the modern landscape, and the vintage models are a whole different rabbit trail. Moving on, of course Cartier's on this list. I freaking love Cartier. Honestly, anything vintage, neo-vintage, or modern is cool. Anytime someone is wearing a Cartier watch, I get very excited, and 10 out of 10, I will talk to that person. And 10 out of 10, they usually don't want to talk to me. So we got vintage, neo-vintage Cartier tanks. I also love the modern tank. I have one. They are effortlessly chic, look great with anything, dress them up, dress them down. But the specific watch I want to highlight as the coolest is the cloche. You really don't see these very often. The first and only time I've seen one of these was actually at a ladies' watch event. A very cool girl was wearing a skeletonized platinum cloche. Ooh, ho, ho. It was cool. It might be the coolest watch I've ever seen someone wear. Yeah. If I could afford a cloche, I would get one of these so fast. But I can't afford one. So now we're getting quite expensive. We're entering fantasy land for me and my budget, but definitely that next step up in terms of watchmaking, the Moser Streamliner. This is quirky. This is kind of weird and out there, but still very sporty and robust. This is the go anywhere, do anything watch choice of someone with a little bit more money and like something that's just a little bit different. For me, the standout features are the dial and the bracelet. The bracelet almost feels organic. It's fluid and the brushing is fine. It drapes really nicely on the wrist. It's a really quirky take on the stainless steel sports watch, and I would expect nothing less from Moser. This is not affordable. This is not mainstream, but dang it, this might be the coolest watch on the list. The Laurent Ferrier Sports Auto Tourbillon. Now, already, the Laurent Ferrier Sport Auto, so cool. But for maximum cool factor, it has to be the Tourbillon. So, unlike most watches with the Tourbillon, this one isn't on display from the front or visible on the dial. It is only visible looking at the case back. It is only for the wearer to know and the owner to appreciate. To me, this is the epitome of fine watchmaking and not really wanting to flex, but still having a great sports watch. Moving on, and this is our last watch on the list, although it's actually not the most expensive. I don't know why I've made this the order that I have, but I've done what I've done and we're going to have to accept that. It's the FP Journe Elegante. Everything about this watch is cool, but on paper it shouldn't be cool. It's quartz. It's a weird shape. It kind of looks like a cathedral clock or something, but it is all these elements that make it cool. Even though it is quartz, it's a very Journe take on quartz. So after 35 minutes of inactivity, the watch goes into sleep mode, the hands stop ticking, everything stops moving until you pick it up again, and it wakes up. This is the most fun part of the Elegante. It's so cool. But anyways, guys, that's just my list of the coolest watches. The watches I think are for cool guys and gals. If I see these in the streets, if I see pictures of these, I get very excited. You might have been wondering throughout this video, what makes me uniquely qualified to talk about cool watches, as I'm quite obviously not a cool person. And the answer to that is nothing. Nothing makes me qualified. I really wouldn't take this list seriously, because I'm not very cool. But if you're cool, even if you're not cool, let me know in the comments down below what are your favorite watches, different watches that make you really excited. I can't wait to see the comments down below. Thank you once again to IFL for sponsoring this video. And now, gorgeous fabulous Pope tier patrons, get their names on the screen. Oh my goodness, I'm sure it's come out during this video, but I'm so under the weather. Oh, everything's just not going right, but I was very excited to film this video. It kind of gave me something to do when I wasn't feeling too great, but this isn't about me. This is about you. Thank you so much for sponsoring. Thank you so much for supporting my weird little channel, and I'm glad you guys enjoy what we're doing here. I hope you keep enjoying it. You keep the lights on here at Gringa HQ, and hopefully you keep enjoying the content. Okay, bye guys. Thank you so much.